Beyond the Boys Club: Why Authentic Leadership Transcends Gender. What if everything we've been taught about leadership is fundamentally flawed? What if the very qualities we've been told to suppress, empathy, collaboration, emotional intelligence, are actually the secret weapons of tomorrow's most successful organizations? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Karen Locke, a revolutionary researcher and advocate who has dedicated her life's work to dismantling outdated leadership paradigms. Her groundbreaking research on authentic leadership and gender equity hasn't just contributed to academic discourse, it has fundamentally transformed how forward thinking organizations approach talent development and executive succession. Karen's relentless commitment to creating more inclusive workplaces has advanced countless careers and literally reshaped the DNA of corporate leadership across industries. Her work stands as a beacon for those fighting to create spaces where all leaders can thrive authentically. The insights she shared were nothing short of revolutionary. And today, I'm going to share them with you. For decades, we've operated under a dangerous assumption that to succeed in leadership, women must essentially become men, speak louder, interrupt more, show less emotion, be more aggressive. This belief isn't just wrong, it's catastrophically counterproductive. As Karen Locke's research conclusively demonstrates, the notion that women need to lead like men to succeed fundamentally undervalues the unique strengths women bring to leadership. Qualities like empathy, collaboration, and emotional intelligence aren't just equally effective. They're absolutely essential for modern organizations navigating increasingly complex global challenges. The data is unambiguous. Companies with diverse leadership approaches consistently outperform their more homogeneous competitors. Yet somehow we keep perpetuating the myth that there's only one way to lead effectively. Why? Because we're stuck in outdated thinking that equates leadership with dominance rather than influence, with command rather than connection, with volume rather than vision. Let me share three critical insights from my conversation with Karen that completely reframe how we should think about effective leadership in today's world. First, authentic leadership drives success. When leaders, particularly women and especially Black women, embrace their authentic selves rather than conforming to stereotypical male behaviors, something remarkable happens. Their teams perform better, innovation flourishes, engagement soars. Consider the findings from the Chartered Management Institute in the UK. Their comprehensive research discovered that companies with higher proportions of women in senior positions consistently outperformed those led primarily by men. This wasn't a small effect, it was dramatic and repeatable. What happened when these organizations implemented inclusive hiring practices and mentorship programs focused on developing all forms of leadership talent? Several participating companies reported double digit gains in revenue growth. Double digit gains, not by forcing women to lead like men, but by valuing the diverse approaches they naturally brought to the table. For years, executive teams were dominated by men due to entrenched beliefs about what makes a good leader. As Karen Locke pointed out during our interview, these beliefs weren't just unfair, they were actively harmful to organizational performance. Only when these ideas were challenged through diversity initiatives and public accountability measures did firms begin opening their doors wider. And what happened? Their bottom lines improved dramatically. The second key insight: diverse leadership styles strengthen organizations from the inside out. This isn't just about fairness or representation, though those are critically important. It's about building more resilient, adaptable, and ultimately more successful businesses. Researchers at Nyan Road Business University identified gender stereotypes as one of the most persistent barriers facing women aiming for corporate advancement. Women faced systematic bias during recruitment and promotion processes. Their achievements were routinely devalued if they didn't display traditionally masculine behaviors like assertiveness or competitiveness. But here's where it gets interesting. When organizations implemented targeted interventions, including bias awareness training for managers and career development workshops emphasizing both soft skills alongside technical expertise, something transformative occurred. Not only did participants report increased confidence using their natural strengths, but organizations noted higher retention rates among high potential female employees who finally felt valued for their authentic selves. As Karen emphasized in our conversation, many corporate cultures unconsciously reinforced old stereotypes until researchers highlighted how damaging these cycles could be for both individuals' careers and company performance overall. The university's work sparked national debates on workplace equality policies and has been cited internationally as evidence supporting reforms around recruitment practices. This brings me to the third crucial insight from Karen Locke. Breaking stereotypes benefits everyone. This isn't a zero sum game where women win and men lose. It's about unlocking innovation and growth for entire organizations by valuing all forms of leadership. Research conducted at Bryant University found that women leaders foster greater employee creativity than their male counterparts, due largely to interpersonal engagement styles rooted in emotional intelligence. Initially, women leaders faced skepticism about whether collaborative approaches would deliver results comparable with more autocratic methods, but the evidence proved overwhelming. Teams led by empathetic managers demonstrated higher levels of creative output. Employees reported feeling safer sharing new ideas. Departments embracing these strategies saw measurable increases in patent applications, a concrete metric tied directly to innovation culture shifts. Traditional views had labeled creativity nurturing behaviors as soft, discouraging many aspiring leaders from fully leveraging them. But Bryant's findings have informed global HR best practice guidelines around fostering psychological safety, benefiting organizations of all types. When we limit what leadership can look like, Karen told me during our interview, we limit what our organizations can achieve. Let that sink in for a moment. When we limit what leadership can look like, we limit what our organizations can achieve. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great in theory, but the real world doesn't work that way. The real world rewards traditional leadership styles. But that's precisely the mindset we need to challenge because the data tells a different story. A comprehensive global study by McKinsey found that companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on executive teams were 25% more likely to have above average profitability than companies in the fourth quartile. 25%. That's not marginal, that's transformative. And for Black women specifically, the challenges and opportunities are even more pronounced. As Karen Locke pointed out, Black women face unique barriers at the intersection of race and gender. They are often expected to conform not just to masculine leadership norms, but also to majority cultural expectations that can feel fundamentally inauthentic. Yet, when organizations create environments where Black women can lead authentically, bringing their full selves and perspectives to the table, the results are extraordinary. Their unique lived experiences and approaches to problem solving become invaluable assets rather than obstacles to overcome. As Maya Angelou wisely said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. This profound truth lies at the heart of why emotional intelligence and authentic connection, Qualities traditionally associated with women's leadership styles are so powerful in today's complex business environment. So, what would happen if more organizations adopted this perspective? If businesses embraced a broader definition of effective leadership, one that values empathy, collaboration, and emotional intelligence alongside decisiveness? According to Karen Locke's research, they'd see stronger financial performance, greater innovation, improved employee retention, and healthier workplace cultures where everyone can thrive regardless of background or style. This isn't speculation, it's backed by rigorous data across multiple industries and geographies. So here's my challenge to you today, inspired directly by my conversation with Karen Locke. Examine where outdated assumptions about leadership might still linger in your organization or in your own thinking. Are you unconsciously valuing certain leadership traits over others based on gender stereotypes rather than effectiveness? Are you creating an environment where diverse leadership styles can flourish? For those of you who identify as women, especially Black women, I want you to hear this message loud and clear. Your authentic leadership style isn't something to apologize for or minimize, it's your superpower. The qualities you bring naturally to the table, whether they are traditionally associated with your gender or not, are precisely what make you effective. For allies and organizational leaders, ask yourself, are you actively creating pathways for diverse leadership styles to be recognized and rewarded? Are your promotion criteria truly based on results rather than conformity to a narrow leadership archetype? The time for incremental change is over. We stand at a pivotal moment where organizations must choose, cling to outdated leadership models and fall behind, or embrace the full spectrum of leadership styles and thrive in an increasingly complex world. This is not just about fairness, though that alone would be reason enough. This is about organizational survival and excellence. This is about unleashing the full potential of every leader in your organization, regardless of how they look, speak, or lead. I urge you to leave here today with a commitment to action. Challenge the status quo in your workplace. Advocate for leadership development programs that value diverse styles. Mentor someone whose approach differs from the traditional mold. And most importantly, lead authentically yourself, showing others by example that there isn't just one way to be effective. The future belongs to organizations brave enough to redefine leadership, to those willing to see strength in styles once dismissed as weak, to those who understand that authentic leadership transcends gender and transforms organizations. Will you be part of this revolution? The choice is yours, but know this: history will remember those who had the courage to lead differently. Thank you.